All right, welcome everybody.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome. You got Tom and George here today. George is back from the beach.
Back from the beach.
Did you get?
Yeah, I had to go to the conference center for the Bitcoin conference thing coming up. I had to make sure that they could support us and do everything with us and meet a few people, shake some hands, make sure that they were going to meet our needs, Tom.
You know, it's not easy being you, George.
It's not.
You gotta. You do what you have to do, though.
It's just not. If people only understood.
Hello, Raymond. Raymond says, smash the like button. Mike, Gorilla, hello, hello. George looks like he got a suntan. Well, he was at the beach yesterday, so.
Oh, I did get a little bit one.
That could very well be.
And then today I had to put in a garage door. I helped. We're very
significant help. No, you were. I saw you. You were helping.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
After all, supervision is the most important part of the job.
So wait a second. Bitcoin is sideways.
True.
Tell me. Should I stay or should I go now?
That might be the poll we need to do.
Should I stay or should I go? If I leave, it could be double. If I stay, there might be trouble.
You bought into CleanSpark and you haven't gotten out. Correct me if I am wrong.
You are not wrong. I don't want to look though.
Don't look. Hello.
Oh, is it bad?
Mertz. No, it's not that bad. Hello, Mertz, Keith, Martin, Raven.
Oh, it's up for me. I bought a lot lower than this, people. A lot lower. I got in at 365 again, by the way.
Wayne, thanks for smashing the like button. Appreciate it. Looks like a lot of you guys have done that, but anybody who has not smashed the like button, if you could please smash the like button, we appreciate it. It helps the live stream out a lot while we are live, so the more, the merrier.
So what's the consensus on Bitcoin this weekend, Tom?
I think that needs to be our first poll, as usual. I'll tell you, this was a pretty slow day. Bitfarms, for whatever reason. So Bitfarms is down 3.69%. I only say that because I'm going to go to their chart and show you why I say that. But we're going to go...
As you do that, Stronghold did not make it. Sorry, suckers. Try again next week.
Oh, 98.5 cents.
I mean suckers as in thanks for playing.
I feel like I didn't do it. I don't think I did anything this week, but I will tell you, I am super tempted to buy some Stronghold. So
I am now nervous of any. Just so you know.
Really?
Yes. Anytime they're gonna have to do a reverse split.
We'll see about that.
How much longer do they have?
I don't know. I gotta check. They got a little bit of time left. All they gotta do is what? Double? A little more than double? I'll show it. Let me show you a chart. After this one, I'll show you another chart because I was just looking at it earlier today. It's just stunning what these stocks can do. If you can catch a run. So anyway, the reason I'm showing you this is you can see. Let me add the volume. So here we go. Like all day, nothing. This is Bitfarms on the 5-minute time frame. So, on the last 5 minutes of the day, gigantic dump. And, they finished down. I think they were down 6 cents in the last, 5 minutes of the day. So somebody had some... It's not profit taking, not at $1.18. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why people do this. I don't know what makes.
Seth, you bought into first FRC? Oh, you're nuts.
Oh, that is a roll of the dice. That is a major gamble. Seth, good luck.
First Republic, right?
I should have them up here somewhere, yeah.
So he's hoping this weekend they get together and We don't, for the good of the economy, the banking system, we cannot let this bank fail.
I gotta
Waiting for that
believe we're gonna, if we don't hear actually, no news is good news right now, because this would be the type of weekend announcement. So if we don't hear anything all weekend long, then maybe that was the right bet. And down, I mean, this company's down 99%. So they're either going to survive or they're going to be done. They were talking about potentially putting them into receivership this weekend. So if that doesn't happen, I would be encouraged that there is a chance. But I think Seth knows this was this is just one. You take a shot.
Wow.
And
you're crazy.
ID Neon saying the opposite. FRC is a short, and you could argue that. I did look at some puts. There's so much premium on all the options. I couldn't figure out whether to buy something or sell something, I was like, you know what? I don't really even know what's going to happen over the weekend on this one, so I'm going to stay away. But I did look, so I know the feeling, Seth. I didn't make a move, so good luck.
I mean, if you're throwing $1,000 at it, I got $1,000 on red. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. You make if you can make a small, I'm gonna say bet, but it's not really a bet. But if you want to put a small amount of money and hope that you get a big return on it, obviously this is when they hit $10 a couple of days ago. That was their all-time low. Then they hit $6. That was their all-time low. They got down to $2.98 today. I mean, the stock is this was a $171 stock this year. So
$171.
Yeah, now $3.50. Let's see. Raven, great opportunity to make some money. ID Neon said, I called Riot at the bottom. Welcome, Mocha Nut.
I'm taking care of Mocha Nut right now. I'm sending him a thing. That's my Discord right there. Discord me or whatever. Message me, I guess, in Discord, and then I can add you. Because if I send you the link right now, then it won't be members only. It will be everybody.
You know what, George knows what he's doing better than I do in Discord. So if that doesn't work, let us know.
I don't know much.
Let's see. Raven, I think July 26th for any. Is that something happening July 26th? Oh, is that their date? That's the day they have until July 26th. So they got some time. Oh, they're going to be over $1 by then, in my opinion. Not financial advice. All right, we got 37 likes. We got to get to 100 this time. We didn't get there last time. So everybody, please smash the like button if you would be so kind. It is free. We will get a poll going as well. Scott Richardson, thank you very much, sir. $5 super chat. No questions, Scott? No thoughts? Let's see. Scott Richardson just saying hello. Yo, bros. Right back at you, Scott. Thank you very much for being on the stream with us, and thanks for the super chat. Hope you had a good week. Howling with Wolf. Yes. Yeah. I feel like a lot of us here, subscribers, members, a lot of people on the channel got Wolf right. Got in right at the right time, and you can see I just went back to the board to show Wolf had another day today. They're at $1.78. Okay, so this is one right here. I mean, look how fast. Oh, I got to get off 5 minute. So when was this? This was March 17th. So that is now, 1 month and 10 days ago. So in 1 month and 10 days, this stock was at 53 cents. So, you would have thought with a month left, a month you'd say, nah, it's got to double to get to $1. It's in trouble, but it's at $1.78. This stock is up like $1 so far in the rearview mirror. This stock's up 227, almost 230% in 1 month and 10 days. So that is why I'm not worried about any. It sounds like, thank you, who was it who gave us that information? Thank you, Raven, for letting us know July 26th is Any's date. So that's months from now. And I feel very confident that Bitcoin's going to do its thing in the middle, and Any's going to do its thing. So I'm in Any. I that's a new position for me this year, as is Terawulf. And then the third one I'm thinking strongly about is Stronghold, but I have not bought into that yet. But they're kind of hanging out. But you can see these kind of vicious moves are what happens. But that's not even the one I was going to show you. Let me go to the one that I was going to show you guys, because this is crazy. This is Argo Blockchain. Now, I will tell you, I'm not recommending Argo Blockchain. They put out their financial statements for the year, I think yesterday or today. I just briefly went through them. It's everything that, you would expect. They lost a couple of $100 million. Lot of write-offs, write-downs, just like all the rest of the Bitcoin miners. So, in that regard, it was more of the same. But I don't love their business model. That's neither here nor there. What I'm here to say is that these guys were at 36 cents on December 16th. So they took a run from December 6th. So that's a month, basically a month and a half, even if you want to let's call it 2 months. It was 787% they went up. So, that's what can happen. That's these kind of moves, and it was on news. So when stocks are down this low and their market cap is down, and Stronghold, I think, is still only like a $50 million market cap company, one piece of news or information or anything can cause gigantic swings in stocks of this size.
I heard that you had to smash the like button in order for Bitcoin to go up during the stream. I don't know.
I heard the same thing. I can't verify that to be true, but that is going around right now on the internet, Discord.
Hang on. No. From here, you have to take and message me in Discord my name I gave you. I'll put it in here again. It's Poop McNasty.
Kyle says hello from what I call Quebec, because I was told both pronunciations are correct. So hello, Kyle. Welcome to the stream.
2-8.
Raven said, we will make it. I watched Stronghold make it to $1. Yeah, I agree. Keith just bought some Zim. That is a previous members only deep dive stock that we did. Let's see, Mr. Charles, any Soluna holding buyers in this chat? Apparently there was a big spike at the end of the day.
That's neat.
What are you looking at, George?
We're getting people to use Discord.
Yeah,
somebody else just emailed me or text messaged me. I don't know what the hell you say about Discord, but they did on Discord, and it's nice to see.
Very nice. We've got a very active crowd in our members only Discord now, so that is very exciting to see. It's our members only Discord, our members only live stream. They're competing with the amount we get on our regular live stream. So
that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that means where's the rest of the world? Where is everybody? Come join us on the live stream.
Time for a poll?
Time for a poll.
Are we having a poll back this weekend?
Want to do a weekend? So by Monday morning?
Yeah, by Monday morning. Don't do 35 or 25.
No.
I think you got to do I do 32 or 27.5. Which way is Bitcoin headed? I'm just trying to figure out, is the eclipse going to make it skyrocket or plummet? I think it might skyrocket or it might plummet. I don't know. I have no idea.
We are now, just for perspective, we're at 29,300. I think 31 would be a monster move over the weekend.
Oh, do you?
So I'm going to say...
It's not going to move over the weekend. It usually kind of just drifts. Have you noticed the weekends have not been big moves anymore? I wonder why.
There's been a lot of sideways action in Bitcoin, and then it moves in spurts. You're right. It hasn't so much been on a weekend lately.
I wonder why. I know why. I have a theory, but I'm not saying it to get the stream demonetized again.
All right, so by Monday morning, what do we think is more likely? 31,000, in other words?
Oh, you should have done the same, too, because it probably will just be the same.
Oh,
yeah,
I should have done that. You want me to do a new one?
Yeah,
you want me to cancel
do a new
this?
one.
Sorry for the 9 people who just voted. I'm just going to add.
10.
I'm going to add to that. I'm going to do the same thing.
Or the same. Yeah, because there's a very good likelihood it's going to be the same.
All right, let's see. So Bitcoin by Monday morning. So now the same. Is it just going to go sideways like it has been lately? Or are we going up? Or are we going down? That is our first poll of the day. Welcome, Sour Melon Gaming. Welcome, I'm going to say Beatrice, but that's not quite right. So my apologies. Scott Richardson said, sorry, George, when you look at the weekly, most miners did really well with only a minimal move of Bitcoin. So, yes, I agree. And so tomorrow, everybody can look for my video tomorrow where I will summarize the activity by Bitcoin miner for the week. Also, for the year to date. So I do this every weekend. So check that out. And you're right. I think the Bitcoin miners had... This was a decent week for Bitcoin. It was a decent week for the Bitcoin miners. And it was a decent week for the stock market, all things considered. And we had a lot of big earnings calls this week. So, to some extent, you just want to get through those weeks over the course of the last year and a half. But let's see. Scott wants to know, maybe this can be our next poll. Scott Richardson, Tom and George, what will Bitcoin do during the conference? MicroStrategy's big presentation. Yeah, I mean, Michael Saylor is the headliner at the conference again. I don't see Kathy Woods on the list this year.
Trying to be nice today. That's
Mike said, "Give me 45K. I'll take it."
So Tom.
Yes.
I forgot who said this.
I believe it was Benjamin Franklin.
No, somebody in the stream said that historically, at the conference, Bitcoin's gone down. Historically.
This is the one thing I will say about this year's conference, and I don't know why they did this last year. I believe that because they hyped, the last couple of times, they've hyped the conference up to no end. And if you remember last year, in the months leading up to the conference, the months and weeks, they were saying, we've got announcements that are coming out at this year's Bitcoin conference that are just going to blow away last year. And, they're game changers and shockers. And really, I mean, it was a nice conference, but I don't really think there was any actual...
I'm going to tell you something. I'm sorry. I guess for the amount of money that I paid for the last time, for the conference. I'm sorry, I was not impressed.
George was
Not at all.
not impressed with the
Not
conference.
impressed. And then I went to the volunteer. I was like, you know what? Maybe I just didn't get involved enough. So then I figured I would get into the volunteer thing, right? And I started asking, wait a second, I just paid like $2,000 for a ticket, and then I had to pay for a hotel. I think we spent like almost $10,000 there, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, so I said, well, that's cool. You know, I'll make some money instead of volunteering. Maybe I can get paid. No, everybody there is a volunteer.
So,
And I said, and then I started, the guy who's in charge of it, his name's George. I'm like, oh, that's really nice that you volunteer. Oh, I'm not volunteering. I work here. Oh, okay. So you just want the suckers to volunteer. And I just have a rough time with it. You know what I mean? And then I was like, you know, okay,
I would not volunteer for a for-profit thing. I mean, that is run.
I know.
Who's that? Bitcoin Magazine? I mean,
yeah, isn't that ridiculous?
No reason.
Right, I know.
There's just
I was
no
just like,
reason.
I know.
Volunteer.
I was so pissed. And so,
volunteer for
what?
Like
I know. So then I was like, okay, I can give him 1 day. I'll give him 1 day. I mean, whatever. I'll just do 1 day and I'll get a ticket. No. In order to get a ticket, you got to volunteer for 3 days. And I said, so
during the event?
Yes.
Well, then what do you need a ticket for? Because that's the whole thing.
I know. And then you have like responsibilities, and they really want you to do things. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, but my opportunity cost says no way. And I just have a rough time with that. I mean, it would be one thing if they weren't charging for tickets, or if they were giving tickets away.
And you
you
got the better tickets too. There's like, you know, levels
yeah, I got
of
the
tickets,
industry.
and it just didn't feel like we got anything
special for it, yeah.
Right.
I was really disappointed. And it's like, I mean, I'm into the whole user experience.
Yeah, they needed some work. Also, that is a massively monstrous convention center. So
it is.
Sometimes there's some events that just can't present well in that because it's so big, it's hard to fill up with relevant stuff. I'm just saying. So, and I think they might have suffered a little bit from that.
Right.
There was a lot of people there, but again, it's the place is so huge that it's
40,000 people.
Right, but it didn't feel like a gigantic, overwhelming crowd because the place is so big. So, hopefully they'll get better. I mean, I agree. It was nice to be there. We saw some people, we met some people, but there was no big announcements.
Seth.
That's right. We met Seth. So, you never know.
We met Seth.
You never know who you're going to run into.
Met Seth. But I'm not trying to be a Karen about it. I'm just trying to figure out why I have to, you know what I'm saying. I know you guys know what I'm saying. You're just bugging me.
Listen, you were a little disappointed. They fell a little short of your expectations.
Yeah, you can't change that.
I thought it was just fine. I stayed very busy there, but I understand. Like it wasn't a wow. There was not, you know. I thought there would be more wow factor to it, but my point of all this was in years past, Bitcoin has not done so well during the conference. But one of the reasons for that could possibly be, certainly not the only reason, but like I was saying, in the past they've hyped like these giant announcements that were coming. So as the conference goes on and nothing happens, you know, it's a buy the rumor, sell the news situation. Right. But I will say this year, I haven't heard any of that talk. I haven't heard anybody hyping up like, wow, you know, this year's conference is going to be a game changer. We got big announcements. I haven't heard anything at all like that. So let us know in the chat if you guys have heard any, you know, large high-profile people talking about, you know, big anticipation for the Bitcoin conference. I feel like it's flying under the radar a little bit. Sour Melon Gaming can't wait for the Talkin' Investing Bitcoin 100K special one day. Yes, I hope that day is sooner than later.
Somebody brought up an interesting point, Tom.
What is it?
Our Twitter not active enough.
That's a very good point. I did read that. I don't remember who said that, but yes. Yeah, we need to get more interactive with Twitter. We're getting the clips back up. We have a clips channel, but we kind of didn't do it for a while. So we're trying to get everything back online and back up. I like doing the videos. I love doing the chat. I love having the membership. And, between answering the comments on YouTube videos and talking and really mostly reading, there's so much chat going on in our members-only Discord. It takes me a long time just to read and stay caught up on what everybody's talking about and thinking about, and I want to stay caught up because there's really good conversation in there. But and I usually respond every day, but I have not kept up on the Twitter, so I got to get the Twitter going. We look like we have no presence on Twitter, really. So, I want to grow that organically, though. I don't want to go get a bunch of fake Twitter followers.
Because we don't?
Yeah.
Well, Twitter used to be a really big cesspool. You guys got to admit that. It's so much better now.
It's better. We should get back on. I'll get back on there, and we'll try and get a little back to normal. It's been a weird year so far. Well, I guess last year was too, so this year is better than last year from a Bitcoin perspective anyway.
Right.
Scott Richardson said, Tom recommended us to look at WULF at 69 cents. So, yeah, I did a video thank you for pointing that out, Scott. I did a deep dive at 69 cents, and we talked about it a bunch on the channel when it was in or around that range. So, I think, a lot of people agreed, and so I know a lot of people in this group did get in at the right time on WULF, and, it may still... It's been a big run up, but, hopefully there's more to come. So we'll see. Beatrice sold WULF at $1.77 today. Already regret. Well, don't regret. If you bought it at 60 or 70 cents and you sold it at $1.77, you can't kick yourself on that. And you never know. You might catch it on a pullback. So.
Not one letter? Sorry, let's see how good you guys are. Remove a quote. No regrets? Not one little letter?
Oh, I don't even got that one.
Not one little letter? No regrets? You don't remember that one, really?
Man, give me a minute.
It's a newer movie.
A newer movie?
Yeah, it's probably like 2016.
Mm-hmm.
My old girlfriend is on it.
Is in the movie?
Yes.
Your old girlfriend back from the 80s?
Yes. I'm not allowed to talk about it anymore.
Understood.
Charges were dropped.
Non-disclosure agreements were signed. Everybody, all's well that ends well. Robert Anderson said, hello, everyone. Hello. I don't know. I think I might be way behind in the chat. I don't follow along that well in the chat. I try.
Well, you should try.
Let's see. I'm trying right now. JR, if Bitfarms does a 10-to-1, like was mentioned earlier, investors will get crushed. Holding Hive at $12, and I surely didn't buy it at that price. So, yeah, I mean, we did a poll yesterday on is it a good idea or a bad idea for Bitfarms to do a reverse stock split. They basically, they're having a vote, or I don't know if they already had it or they're about to have it, on giving the board the essentially giving them permission to do a reverse stock split or a stock consolidation up to 1 to 10 reverse split. So it can be anything in the middle, and it can, doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it gives them the flexibility to do so if they need to. I would prefer they didn't.
They're going to do it.
If they do, I hope I'd like to see run up to $2 first.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they unfortunately, what they're signaling is that they need more money.
Well, and they do. But I will tell you, in a strange way, I was encouraged. Let me see if I can find the press release. They put out a press release. It might have been today or yesterday. Basically, I think it was today. They are now at 5 exahash, 5.0 exahash, actively mining. But more importantly to me, in that press release, they said their year-end goal was 6.0 exahash, which tells me at the moment they are going to continue doing what they're doing and, very slowly add exahash and focus on operational excellence, improving the strength of their balance sheet. So I think there's a chance, if all they're going to do is get from 5 to 6 exahash this year, and obviously, circumstances could change. If all of a sudden Bitcoin's at $45,000, they may be having a different conversation, but we'll see. But I was encouraged by that because they clearly made that shift. They took their balance sheet from a very unhealthy place, in my opinion, to what I believe is now a very healthy place. And they did continue to grow slowly all the way through that. And it looks like they're saying they're going to do the same thing. So I hope they don't do the reverse split for a while at least, if ever. Let's see where the stock goes on its own. And they shouldn't need to be diluting their stock right now. If their objective is to get to 6.0 exahash by the end of the year, they should not need much dilution to get. Actually, they might not even need any dilution to get there. Now, if they present a plan and they got a bargain or a deal pops up, obviously anything can happen. So that news, I'm pretty sure that was today. It might have been yesterday. So for now, that's their story. Raven said, I got WULF cheap, still holding. Very nice.
I'm looking for your Discord message now.
Ty was saying the CEO of CleanSpark and Marathon will both talk at the Bitcoin conference. Yes, I also saw Jason from Riot was going to be there, and almost everybody. The only people that I did not see was Hut 8. And I'm just thinking that, they're in kind of a quiet period here with a pending transaction, and, they may not be out in the public, or they may add their name to the list by the time the event comes, for all I know. Raven's saying Mullins, the next stock to 10x, and they've already started. Mr. J, do or do not. There is no try. That, I believe, was Yoda.
Oh, I thought he was trying to say something to me. You should have it now. I sent the Talking Investor member chat Discord. Anybody else have any problem with Discord? You can email me. Or Discord me. I always say email me, but I don't know what the lingo is. What's the lingo, Tom?
You're asking the wrong person for the proper.
There's my thing.
I'm pretty sure it's not that. I don't know what the lingo is.
He's like, hang on. He was already in it. So the members chat, right? Members Lounge. Is there another one? No, there's gold. No.
Hello,
no, that's the one.
Mr. J and Wesley said hi all. Miner Doc, welcome. Mokanut, I don't know if I said hello yet. So welcome to, there are a lot of members on the stream right now, so thank you to all the members. For those of you who are interested, I will put a link. There is a link, but I'll just re-put the link in the chat.
I'm going to say something that was in the members lounge. I'm going to change one word and how different it would be. The only people that don't get laid, that's the word that was changed, in the market are people with diamond hands. Isn't that funny? The only people, if you change one word, what a different meaning it has.
Now I don't know what I've done.
Sorry. Bitfarms plan on being debt-free by the halving.
But that's not what they said, is it?
They're going to have to raise some money then to do that.
No, I'm back on your. Sorry, I'm back on your previous comment.
Oh, the only people who don't get effed in the market are diamond hands. I said, if you change one word, how different
Oh.
it is.
Oh, and it's kind of the same word. You're just changing.
One word, right.
Got ya. All right, I caught up with you on that one. All right, membership drive starting right now. I'm putting a link in the description if it lets me. Yes, there's a link in the description. For those of you who are not members, you can join. It's $5 a month. There's lots of privileges. There's a once-week-only live stream. We have a very active members-only Discord that I'm in and George is in. So thank you to all the existing members. Also, while we're at it, this video is brought to you by smashing the like button. Please smash the like button. It helps the stream. So it's free. We appreciate it. We're trying to grow the stream. So thank you, everybody, for your help. And I know we have a lot of names that we know, a lot of people who have been with us for a long time. Some people are new. We have some new names. Welcome to the new names. But thank you to all the people who have also been with us for a long time and keep showing up and keep trudging along in this Bitcoin/Bitcoin miner journey, which I still believe is going to pay off big time in the end. So let's check in on the poll.
Welcome to Crypto Pump Gods. We try to be the most transparent pump group ever. Our goal is at least 250 to 500K per pump. Our pumps are always free.
Huh? What? Who?
No, I'm just reading about this thing. They're called Crypto Pump Gods.
Are you what is it, a Discord?
Yeah, Discord. Like, these people are always inviting me to these. I've got a whole bunch of them. It's all from being a volunteer at Bitcoin Magazine.
See, that's really paying off for you in a big way.
Yeah.
We have 72 likes. Thank you, everybody, for who smashed the like button. Much appreciated. Let's see. We're going to check in on the poll. I think I should end this poll. We also have 72 votes on the poll. Maybe it's the very same people. So right now, so what's Bitcoin going to be by Monday morning? So we closed at around 29,300. So by Monday morning, which would give you all weekend, in first place is 31,000. That is a big surprise to me, believe it or not. So in second place, and that's at 47%. So that's almost a majority of the people think we are going up. 36% said the same. And 18% said we're going to head down to and retest 27K or maybe lower. So this is still an optimistic group. That is nice to see. They've been putting us through the ringer at this 30,000, 31,000. Let me zoom out a little bit so we can. So this is a 4-hour. You can see, I mean, we hit 31,000 on April 14th. It's now April 28th. That is 2 weeks later, or 2 touchdowns later, as I like to say. This is a football month. We're not playing football, but it's, Fridays are 7, 14, 21, and 28. Those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't think I don't know, think I'm crazy. So anyway, 2 weeks ago, we hit $31,000. We have not been back there since, but we did revisit $30,000 on April 26th, which was this week. So, right, that was what, Wednesday? So, on Wednesday, we got up over 30. We candlewicked, even on the 4-hour time frame, we only candlewicked above that, so that didn't really hold. And then, we retested on the lows. So, we talked about on the last live stream, we seem to be holding. We got above this candle here on the 26th, on the evening of the 26th, got back above this 28.8 line of support, which for me, I have considered an extremely, extremely strong line of support or resistance, depending on where we're at. So this has held ever since. We did have one dip, but it didn't quite get there. So, it's been a couple days. We've been solidly over 28.8, and what we should look at is what's happening. So what's happening on the 4-hour RSI? I mean, we did get on this. See, we had a big, I think this was those liquidation events. So we got way overbought, and then we pulled way back. But, if I draw, and this isn't going to be a perfect line, but if I draw a trend line from the bottom, why is this not? If I draw a trend line, we're kind of holding our own on this line, moving in the right direction on the 4-hour time frame. So you could say we're climbing up this ascending line of support here potentially, and we've got a lot of room. The 4-hour can get over 70, it can get over 80. It has gotten at or near 90 several times, so there is still room to the upside. We could definitely, so this is all to the point of, are we going to get to 31,000 this weekend? I could see it happening. I'm not calling it, but I could see it happening. However, if we look at this, I think we're going to find out at the moment we're still green on the histogram, but we're getting very close to a bearish crossover. Now, the last few bearish crossovers were not a big deal. We haven't really picked up momentum in either direction for days and days now. So, I'm not too worried if this resets itself, but I don't know. Maybe this goes. I think I would say over this weekend, my answer might have been the same. And I'm usually the optimist, but I'm thinking we're sideways this weekend.
That's what I said, by the way. I said we'd stay the same. Didn't somebody offer you a whatchamacallit last year to the conference? I think it was Cleanspark, by the way.
A ticket.
Yeah.
To the yes.
Yeah. You see, man. You see how much you're out of the loop, Tom. You used to be the man.
How far we have fallen. Yes.
You remember? Used to talk to those guys all the time, like monthly.
I know. I haven't done a lot of interviews lately. I've taken a break as Bitcoin has been super sideways, and I don't want to be redundant, but I think maybe after I got 2 I want to do before the conference, and then and one of which is CleanSpark, and then maybe we'll get to everybody after the conference. Also, I'm hoping to talk to a few of these people while we're at the conference, so we'll see what happens. But
this is interesting. So did you see how much the whale pass was this year? I'm sorry, I'm back on this conference thing. Did you see how much the whale pass was?
How much was I did see, but I don't remember. Was it?
I mean, I think it's like $6,500, $65 maybe.
Yeah, that could be. I had 6,000 in my head. So yeah, I mean that's they want their money. So don't volunteer. All right, I'm gonna end this poll when it's at. We are now at 50%. Think we're gonna get to 31,000. That's on 82 votes. Thank you everybody for voting. That's excellent representation in the votes. So we are a group of optimists right now. We are bullish on Bitcoin over the weekend. So hopefully, maybe this just keeps tracking and we go up all weekend.
If you would have spoke, Tom, you would have got a ticket. You know that?
At the conference?
Yeah.
Just be on one of the miscellaneous panels. I know they have some YouTubers on like some of the miscellaneous panels that probably nobody goes and watches. So, well, we'll see. We gotta get to 100,000 subscribers first.
Who else follows like anybody else in Bitcoin like that is like besides Saylor? Everybody knows Saylor. Does anybody else really know anybody else in Bitcoin?
Big names in Bitcoin, famous people, and I mean Michael Saylor. That's what he's famous for. So it's kind of a weird situation. He is a high-profile, famous person, but Bitcoin's what he's famous for. I don't know who else they could get to go to that thing.
It's funny to see all these different companies, though. It's like I don't know any of these people. Shift Crypto, anybody? Upstream Data, anyone?
Upstream, downstream.
BitGo, never heard of that.
Mocha saying 40,000 is a magnet at this point. I hope that you are right. Wesley said, "Hi Tom, did you have a look at the Dutch EV charger? So I still have not done my EV. I'm doing a charge point video, so I still have not done that. So I have taken a quick look at it, but I'm going to include that in that video. Sorry for asking every time. No, I don't mind you keeping it on my radar, but just so you know, it is in my notes for that deep dive video that I'm going to be doing for the members. So, but you can keep reminding me until we get to it, please.
Barefoot mining. I've never heard of barefoot mining.
Let's see.
He's in South Dakota.
Wesley's saying, I think it could be a good company also, since the Netherlands government is going to give subsidies. So that's back again on the EV charging station. There's only a few. I think with that I am aware of 5 pure play EV charging stations. So, you know, drop in the comments if you know one that I don't know about. But to my knowledge, there's only 5 of them in the world that are publicly traded. Mr. J looking at the 3-month, looks healthy to me. It's time for another poll. Wesley said, "Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it greatly." All right, you got it, Wesley.
I just asked somebody who's trying to resell a whale pass. They want 5
for profit.
No.
They're not going, so they want something.
5,663. No, he got it from free. Dude, the problem is I know how all these damn things work. That's my problem.
Oh, that guy got it for free and he wants to make money.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I know, and you know. I used to do conferences, so I know, you know, half of the people are free and then the other half are paying. And that's why it always aggravates me.
It's very aggravating.
I'm used to people calling me up and say, "Hey, George, I got a ticket for you." Nobody.
Nothing. Yeah, we got no.
But to see all these people, I mean, literally, there's 150 people. I know one person. That's what's crazy.
There's a couple more.
Mean, Fred is in there, you know.
Jason is in there.
Frank's in there. Jason, Zach, he's in there.
Right. So those those guys, but outside of that, I know it was not a high profile list of names. I mean,
no.
It's a lot of industry people and that kind of stuff, but you know, Michael Saylor obviously draws a crowd wherever he goes, but beyond that, there was no big.
Like, there's a guy I've never even heard of. Here's a guy who says host of the Blue Collar Bitcoin podcast.
That could be a big podcast for all we know.
This one is founder CEO of Bitcoin Communications. I know. I just find it interesting. Here's his partner, Josh. He's the host of the Blue Collar Bitcoin Conference.
Should we reach out to Bitcoin Magazine after your full day of volunteering? Maybe we got a little leverage there. See if we want to.
No, that's okay.
Be on a panel next year.
I need to do a meme. I think what it is, Tom, is we don't have a picture like these. That's what it is.
A picture?
Yeah.
Why, they got like a logo or some kind of...
No, their picture, like their headshots, you know, like a professional headshot.
Gotcha.
And we don't have one, and they couldn't find it.
We need to get some... We need to update our headshots.
No, and I think that's why, one of the reasons why I feel that Bitcoin just, there is like nobody that really, you know, the go-to, probably the go-to person is Saylor, Michael Saylor. And then besides that, there's nobody.
He's the most high-profile person in the Bitcoin universe, but Kevin O'Leary is Bitcoin adjacent. He's a big name. He's a big draw.
I know, but he cares about Kevin O'Leary.
I know he does. I'm just saying you got to consider him, you know, adjacent to the space. And
who was that one guy
Kathy
that we
Wood
met?
Is like one of the biggest Bitcoin bulls on the face of the earth. She's still calling for Bitcoin, you know, $1 million.
Who was that one guy we met and he asked me for, what was it, $250,000? Do you remember that? He
The
goes,
ones
"Oh,
we
these
sat
things
down with, and he was.
India." He's like, "In India, we're going to put these in." That's not an Indian accent. I'm just telling you what he was saying to me.
What?
You know, we're going to put these in all over the place. We got an idea. Oh, great. 250,000. Oh, well, can you show me one? No, we don't have one. Oh, okay. Do you remember that?
Didn't we take a cab with that guy or something?
Yeah.
Yes, I.
$250,000.
You know, if he doesn't ask for 250, the one thing he knows for sure is he's not going to get it. So you never know. Yeah, we don't buy anything at the Bitcoin conference, and
I like this one guy. Out of all the guys, like a few people like put up like somebody put a carrot with like the laser eyes, you know. But one person put up a piece of toast. I got to meet that guy. His name is Seared Salmon. You would think he'd have a piece of salmon there or something.
Stephen English said there are loads of big people speaking. Surely. I mean, you know, most of the CEOs of the Bitcoin mining companies are either speaking or on a panel. So, you know, for the people that watch our channel here and that are subscribers or members, you know, we know those names. Those are all the people that we know, but they're not, you know, they're not necessarily famous people.
Right. Like, even John Sally would be more impressive than any of these people. You know what I mean?
I know.
Shaq would be, that'd be a good guy to get there.
We got to get Shaq over there. That's right.
No, I just thought, like, out of the people I've seen, there's like, I don't know, nobody I want to meet or even see. That's my problem.
Well, I don't, you know, it's funny because this is the big Bitcoin conference, and you bring up a point. I mean, there's no celebrities, none. And they may all be gun shy and terrified after all the, you know, crypto mess that some celebrities got themselves into over the last year or two, and now they're getting sued and that kind of stuff. So
right, that could be. Yeah.
I don't know if that's. Now, I would think that people would think they're safe with Bitcoin.
Do you know who Lynn Allen is?
No.
Lynn Allen Investment Strategies. I don't even want to say. There is a reason. I've like seen her before on like a TikTok or something like that, but I don't want to tell you why I've seen her because everybody would hate me if I told. She has a very unique look, okay? And I just like, wow, that's one. I'm just her face, and it's just a very unique look. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just remembered her because of this uniqueness. So.
Does she have what? She's ugly?
No, she's not ugly. I didn't say that. She just has a very unique look. Not saying anything's wrong with that unique look.
Okay.
You might be into this type of look, I guess. Not saying it's for me.
All right. Well, I guess you'll have to go check that out on your own if you're interested.
Lynn Alton.
Judgment-free zone.
Like, I don't even care. Like, what's that one guy's name who talks about, like, he's on the radio or he's on TV and everybody talks about him.
And what's he do?
His name rhymes with Tim, and he talks, and his picks are usually wrong. And everybody kind of likes him because he talks about socks all the time. I think they like him. Tim Cream.
What?
Creamer.
Oh, Jim. Are you talking about Jim Cramer?
Tim Creamer. I mean, even he would be a good, person to talk.
He has lost a lot of credibility in the Bitcoin crowd because he really totally trashed Bitcoin a couple of times. And so he probably wouldn't want to show his face at a Bitcoin conference. Really? He would not be well received.
No, I'm just saying
at all. I hear you. There's lots of personalities out there. I don't know why they're not getting bigger personalities. This could be an indicator that still Bitcoin has not reached a certain level of familiarity and adoption throughout the general population.
We should call Frank at Marathon and see if we can get a ticket.
And I wonder if also you're still trying to bum a ticket.
Sorry, go on.
Reach out and beg for tickets.
No, I didn't say that. Lynn is 100x smarter than George. She probably is. Now I gotta look who she really is.
Now you got me some. Know? Are you just
no? I don't know who she
stuff?
is. I have no idea who she is. I have no idea. All I know is she was an engineer.
Okay.
And that she became a finance person.
That's usually not a straight line from one to the other, but
so and I just want to know
part of the brain.
Raymond, what's the answer? How do we determine if she's smarter than me? Has more money? Yeah, Tom Brady would have been an awesome speaker, but he probably has egg on his face because of the whole FTX thing.
If that hadn't happened, we might have had people like that coming.
Are you serious? This too shall pass. I'm not sure, but Lynn Allen may be a natural man. Not sure, but that's what I think. Really? That's interesting. That would kind of make more sense.
Ah, okay.
So she could be he. But anyways, tell me what the qualifications is for her being smarter than me.
Stephen English is saying, I'm sorry to say it, guys, there are a lot of big names. You maybe just don't know them. So, Stephen, my response to that would be they're industry inside names. They're big names inside. But, you know, there's other events and conferences that get higher profile, like the man on the street knows their name. You know what I mean? Some of these people are well known in the investment community or in the Bitcoin community, but other than Michael Saylor, there's probably not another person at the conference that if you walked out onto the street in New York City and asked 100 people, they probably couldn't name another person that's going to be speaking at the Bitcoin conference, is my guess. Maybe one out of 100, maybe 1 or 2 out of 100 would know one person.
Well, this Lynn Allen, she's already has a very interesting life. We're very much alike because it says that she lived in poverty and lived in cars and was homeless for quite some time. Then she moved in with her uncle.
Raymond, thank you for being a member, but I will tell you, you don't. His comment is, and I think you read this, Lynn is 1,000 times smarter than George.
Okay,
and all I'll just tell you is, don't judge a book by its cover.
No, judge a book. I don't care. Here's how I determine success. I used to be a woman. Yes, I did. I determine success is by freedom, by the way, guys. Maybe different than you guys, but to me, freedom is the most success you can have. It's not necessarily money. Money's only so important because I find that, well, I don't know this to be true, but if you look at people, they have like, $20 million or $30 million really makes no difference. What's the difference between 20 and $30 million? 10 million, yes, I know, but
nothing. But there's a difference between 20 million and 150 million.
Oh, and Cena is way too busy. He's doing a new sitcom right now. I don't know if you saw that. She is a transgender.
Okay, there
I didn't even pick her out because I just said, do you know this person? Because I was just curious. I didn't know anything about her background or anything. I didn't care. I just said that she had a very unique face. Here I go. I already stepped in it again.
Bitcoin Rules said people do the opposite of Jim Cramer. Come on.
I agree. No, I thought it was interesting. I didn't know, I literally just thought she was very interesting looking. She didn't look like a woman to me, and I didn't want to say that. And then I didn't know. I know nothing about this person.
Minor Doc said, George, don't get us deplatformed.
I know. I'm gonna. I'm so sorry. This was not my intention to do at all. I'm sorry.
I don't even know who we're talking about. I remain blissfully ignorant
I know,
on this
it's crazy.
matter. I don't know that person, so I can look him up after the stream and see.
Well, I mean, I would start with be the obvious thing if she's 1,000x times smarter than me. I just not even, it's not even a fair fight. I have a great life and it just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So,
what is smart really?
Yeah, what is
Who's
smart?
Let's to define
there's
who
a
is
strike
in
for the
nuts.
channel. I wonder. Wow. So anyways, Tom, how's Bitcoin doing? I was hoping that would give the stall to have the rally in Bitcoin.
We're rallying up to 29,372. We're in a green 15-minute candle.
Are we really?
We're very sideways. We're very sideways. Where did we finish versus yesterday? I mean, we're down a little from yesterday. So for those of you who are sick of me saying it, as always, there's an orange line where Bitcoin was when the U.S. equity markets closed yesterday.
Poor Seth. First Republic Bank is now $1.90
after hours.
After hours.
Wow. Is there an announcement or is it just
I
plummeting?
I don't know.
So Bitcoin's move was only down about 1% so far today. So very, very not a big deal. Most of these were not a big deal. Greenidge had a bad day. Wolf had a good day. Argo Blockchain had an okay day, but it's in a very bad run. I want to look at a few of these, and I got a bunch of other stories that I brought up that we haven't gotten to yet. Stephen English said, Tom, that's the same for any industry conference, surely. So, yeah, and I'm not... Listen, I'm going to go to the conference. I want to go to the conference. There's people that we know. I'm looking forward to hearing from them, maybe meeting some of them, and so I'm not knocking the conference. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm just saying that there's nobody I really want to listen to talk. You know? And you know what? Lynn could be more programmed into the know of, like, different stocks and different, you know, companies. Tom, I recommend Tom for that, not me. Please. I believe in the moon and stuff like that. Astrology.
I believe that the moon's real. I believe in the
moon. Who do you follow for news for Bitcoin, Tom? Who's your number one go-to guy? Like, here's a great guy. I hate to say this because he's bigger than us, but I'm gonna say George.
I am George. We are all George.
Yeah, it's called Cryptos Are Us. I follow that guy religiously.
So I subscribe to Cryptos Are Us, and I watch him when I can. I used to watch him a lot more, but at least once or twice a week, I'm watching what I Am George is doing, and I enjoy his stream. I think he pretty much, I guess he puts some videos out too. So that's one of them. You know who might be at the conference? There is another big name.
He's gonna be there. He's there. He is. Yeah, he's there.
So that's another big name, and so and he does a 3 to 4 minute wrap up every weekend on Bitcoin, and I will tell you, he accomplishes more in 3 or 4 minutes than most other YouTubers do in their hours and hours of talking. Now, it's some top level, high level stuff. You know, you're not going to get into the nitty gritty in 3.5 minutes.
In the backseat of my car.
But
the yellow handle.
I would recommend that for those of you. I mean, we all have 3.5 minutes to spare, I would imagine. So Anthony Pompliano, he does is it his own channel? It must be his own channel.
He was in there. He's in there.
Yeah, so that's a he's a high profile person in my opinion. I think he's known to many.
What about BitBoy? He's not there.
He's not a speaker there, but
no. You think he's gonna be there?
A lot of these guys. Remember last year? I mean, I Am George was there. He wasn't a speaker, but you know, most of those guys were there.
Should I wear a shirt? You think they'd get confused if I wore a shirt that said I Am George?
Well, you are George, so...
I know. That's what I'm saying. You think people would get confused. Adele, are you saying Jack Black would be a good speaker? It says Jack would be a good speaker. I mean, that's to me that would be a good person, Jack Black. I think he's interesting and entertaining. That's what I always look for in anything. I like to go there and have a good time. It's like, not too serious.
Just checking in on your First Republic Bank after hours here.
Yeah, Bitboy and Pomp are tools. What's not looking good?
Minor Doc said BitBoy and Pomp are tools. So I like I don't watch a lot of more of Pomp, but he does that 3.5 minute thing on the weekend, and I think he's always pretty much on point. Obviously, it's very, very top side. It's only 3.5 minutes long, so you're not going to get an in-depth understanding. But I think it's good for the casual viewer. BitBoy, I mean, he's kind of a circus, I know, but I think he does have an awful lot of people that follow him.
Yes, he does. He does.
I mean, he has. I don't know how many, but I bet it's a lot. Right? How many subscribers does BitBoy? He's got to have 1 million subscribers. Millions? I don't know.
I think he has millions, yeah. So Tom, who's the most undervalued right now in the Bitcoin world, miners?
Should we do a poll?
Yeah, or you can look too. Look real quick and then do a poll. I still say CleanSpark. But my only problem with CleanSpark is they get on a run and then they sell. Look at right at the end of the day today. Man.
Well, I mean, CleanSpark was pretty flat on the day. A lot of things sold off a little bit at the end of the day today. So I wouldn't read too much into it. WULF held strong. So I can't put WULF as the most undervalued anymore. Their run up lately has been vicious. So I think any is at a really good valuation right now. So I mean, these are the ones I'll tell you, these are the ones I've been averaging into. So that obviously are the ones that I think are at the better values right now. And there's risk-reward portion to all of that as well. So, it's not just as simple as that. But to me, I still think, right, CleanSpark, I mean, look, if we go look at CleanSpark.
Look at PayPal's up a little bit today.
See, this is where stock price can sometimes get misleading. And I know you would not think this is true, but it just is true, especially for retail investors. CleanSpark's at $3.91. That's a higher number than most of the other Bitcoin miners, but their market cap is only $304 million. So, they have a lower float, despite the fact that the number one criticism for this company by far is that all they do is dilute. They still have a much lower float than the vast majority of their direct competition. So their market cap is small. To me, this is crazy time. These guys are going to be at 9 exahash probably like next month. And they're a $300 million company. Also, by the way, they have one of the lower costs per Bitcoin. So they're one of the most efficient miners. They mine in the top 3 number of Bitcoin mined every month. They have a low cost per Bitcoin. And, they're on the same, from an operational standpoint, they are on the same plane as Riot and Marathon. And I'm going to say that, and I'm going to stick to it. And anybody that wants to leave me nasty comments, which I have gotten in the past. Oh, how could you possibly compare CleanSpark to Marathon? Well, look over the last 15 months, and I bet you at least 13 of the last 15 months, CleanSpark's mined more Bitcoin than Marathon. That's how I can compare them.
Are you serious? Is that true?
It's something like that. It's in that neighborhood. So,
But I have a question. How many Bitcoin does a Marathon hodl?
Marathon has a huge balance sheet, and they have a big stack of Bitcoin. So I never make the argument that they should be the same market cap, because that is not reasonable. There's a lot of variables to go into a market cap. Strength of balance sheet is certainly one of the big ones.
Only $29,000. I mean, 29 million. Sorry.
What?
They have about 10,000 coins, correct?
They have about. They have 11,000 something coins last time I knew.
So I put another 5. So 35 million. Just say that. So what you're saying is
Isn't that
they're at
isn't you got to
1.
add a 0 to that or no? I think you got to add a 0 to that.
Well, hang on. Let me do it again. 11,000, and I'll just do $30,000, even though it's not $30,000.
But for simplicity's sake,
$330 million. I told you to add a 0 to that. So 330 million. So you would subtract that off, right?
well, it's
So
not
they're at
that simple because they
1.68.
also have $700 million in convertible debt. Right? This is what I'm saying. Like these valuations are very, very complicated. So there's and I would agree that Marathon deserves a higher market cap than CleanSpark. But what I would disagree with is that it deserves 5 times the market cap of CleanSpark. They are fairly similar companies, and it could very well be in the end that CleanSpark ends up being a much bigger, more profitable company than Marathon. We don't know that yet. It's too soon to tell. So for one to be 5x over the other, in my opinion, means there's an awful lot more upside. By the way, I think they're both going to go up from here. So I actually did sell a little bit of my Riot a few weeks ago and buy some Marathon. So for as much as I think that CleanSpark's undervalued, that's how much I think CleanSpark is undervalued. I still think Marathon's undervalued, and it's 5 times the value of CleanSpark. So, this is not a bash Marathon session. A lot of people get emotional about these numbers, and they give a lot of comments in the comments section that are not, they're just not based in the actual facts. And for those of you familiar with this channel, all I do is look at the numbers. So that's all I'm doing all day, every day. So I'm looking at the numbers. I'm talking about the numbers. Now, how you interpret the numbers, that is up to each and every one of us. That's part of our own due diligence. But, if there's something in, when I talk about CleanSpark and Riot and Marathon being roughly the same size, operationally speaking, that's because they are. Now, they all have different business models. I just threw Riot in there as well. 3 totally different business models, 3 different balance sheets. And, so there's a lot of factors. But I go through a lot of the numbers. I think everybody on this channel knows that. I'm a numbers person. That doesn't mean I know better than anybody else what the numbers mean, but I certainly am going through the numbers. Right? We all have our own interpretation. Am I on a tangent, George?
No, you're good. It's the whole reason I have CleanSpark.
Yeah, to me, so you asked which one's the most undervalued, and I think probably still the answer is CleanSpark. I think but having said that, I think there's opportunities. So this is, I call this the big board. These are the Bitcoin miners that I follow, and I think there's opportunity all over the place. I don't think every single one of these is an opportunity, but I think there's plenty of opportunity for 2x's, 3x's, 5x's. Some of these I think will be 10x's. Some of these might be 30 or 40x's if history is any indication, and if Bitcoin gets where we think it's going. So lots of room to the upside still, but lots of volatility probably still ahead. So you guys know, obviously I'm passionate about this space. This is where I spend much more than half of my time when I'm looking in the market is spent on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. So And I have conviction.
And Scott, I guess you're probably watching late. Only thing I said about Lynn was something didn't look right to me, and I didn't know anything really about this person. And so I'm not judging the book. I'm reading the book, I guess. You know what I mean? And everybody judges. It's just part of life. We judge. Don't judge. This whole American Idol. How do they win? Somebody doesn't judge.
There's
you know what I'm saying? I'm not judging as in, she's a bad person or she makes bad financial decisions. The only thing I was saying was she had a very unique looking, interesting face. And I didn't know she was a man that's now a woman. I didn't know this. I just said that just go look at her. She had a very interesting looking face. So that's why I dropped it. You know what I mean? I wish her nothing but the best, and I hope she's great because when guys, I look at it's us versus them, and what I mean by that, it's we are competing against the people that have all the money, and we're trying to take, pennies here and there so that we can win. Because Tom, what's the average return for a retail investor in stock?
Yeah, I mean, well, it depends. If you're a retail investor doing your own trading, most retail investors lose money. Now, if you have, a 401k or, you're with a broker, then, you're probably making 7, 8, 9, 10% a year on the average over long periods of time. But in any given year, like we just saw, you could get wrecked even doing that, which happened in 2022. So
Right.
this is not an easy game to make money in.
Right, and if she's helping for the cause, more power to her. You know what I mean? That's what really matters, is that we all get good advice, so we make educated decisions, so they don't steal our money like they've been doing for the last few years. I mean, that's the key.
And the more voices, the better. And none of us, we all know, and I always say, and so does really most responsible YouTubers, and everybody who invests knows, it's not, we're just one opinion. So
Right.
the more opinions you get, the
So
more you can do your own
so then
thought.
here comes my next question. You ready? We were going off about a Bitcoin miner before we started the channel. Who was that and why? And you don't have to say what you're saying about them.
Oh, before we started this stream,
Yes.
we were having a conversation about how GREE had a bad day today. GREE was down 9.48% on the day today. So I think that was the worst one on the board. And my comment would be that is probably tied for, or at least in the bottom three as far as my conviction that I have on any of the Bitcoin mining stocks. So I'm not thrilled with what GREE is doing. I do think, let me take a look, because I think they actually had let me pull this up. Okay, so here we go. This was yesterday. Greenidge Generation deploys 8,400 rigs with a capacity of 1.0 exahash. So the thing is, that means, so Greenidge had to redo their entire business model. For those of you who are invested or were invested or who have done your due diligence, they had to completely change their entire balance sheet, their entire operations, but they have maintained that, they still have 1 exahash worth of Bitcoin miners left. Well, turns out, yeah, they have them, but they haven't even been plugged in all year. They're just right now announcing they're getting these. This is April 27th, yesterday. They're just getting these plugged in. And it's with Core Scientific, by the way, who apparently just signed a bunch of deals as a part of their hosting services. And then I got that press release as well. But my point here is, the Bitcoin mined so far year to date is probably something that resembles zero. I don't know, because they haven't put out operational reports. They stopped doing that, most likely because they're mining virtually no Bitcoin. They've changed their whole business model. Maybe they did what they had to do, et cetera, but a lot of people, I would say more people lost money on Greenidge than any other stock in the Bitcoin mining. And this goes back to, the support.com days, which was only a year and a half or 2 years ago. So, there's people down 99.99% on this stock. You don't find that.
Wow.
Yeah, it might be the only stock ever that's not out of business to be down 99.99%. So it's this stock has had a tough run. Now they're doing what they got to do. They're a totally different company, and the past is the past. But I do not have a high level of conviction in what these guys are doing. I don't own this company.
What would you recommend they do?
Greenidge?
Yes.
I mean, well, to their credit, they're doing the first thing they need to do. They got 1 exahash worth of machines, and why is it taking until April 27th to plug them in? So, those are and Bit Digital is very much the same way. It seems like some of these companies, and it may just be that energy is this hard to find. Reliable energy at a consistent price is a core part of what all this has turned into. And there are companies, and Greenidge seems to be one of them, and Bitfarms and if I'm saying Bitfarms, Bit Digital, stock ticker BTBT, they just struggle to get machines plugged in. They had most of their fleet unplugged for the last year or year and a half. So, and Greenidge, the same thing. Why do you have 10,000 machines in a warehouse?
You know what? We should reach out to everybody and let them know, I know how to plug in machines. I'm not trying to be, it's not that simple. You know what I mean? But, it's more complicated than that, but we can do it. I'm not saying I know how to go take the plug and put it in the machine. I know how to run the power to the machines. Usually what it is people get scared, or even electricians get scared when they do that. These are complicated electrical plans, Tom.
Oh, this is massive infrastructure if they're doing it themselves. But my thing is, for Greenidge, all they really had to do, we're now 4 months into the year, and they found a host to host their machines. So,
wow.
What'd you do for the other 4 months?
Geez, go plug them in your house.
Obviously this is a big indication, because they're not alone. This is a big indication that it is very, very hard. You can't just buy a bunch of Bitcoin mining machines. It's very difficult, whether you're trying to create the infrastructure yourself, which obviously is very costly, or even if you're just trying to find a reliable host. It seems like it's harder and harder and harder for these companies to plug machines in. So when I see a company to go back to CleanSpark, they're very vertically integrated, and they've grown massively. So at the same time as Greenidge has been able to plug in 0 machines, CleanSpark has doubled their exahash. So, those are some operational major differences.
And I became friends with a person. If there's any miners watching and they have this issue, please contact me, because I have a really good friend. That's what he does. He has it all broken down in a spreadsheet of who has what power available and what, amount of how much it costs and what machines are available if you need machines. And it's pretty impressive. Remember that guy I met? I met him.
Yeah.
I think it was at the conference.
It was at the conference.
And I met him, and you know me, I just take down people's information. And so he's always sending me stuff. And I actually have his Google spreadsheet. I can probably pull it up. And he's always updating it of different machines he has and how much, electric is per kilowatt. And, it's just real interesting to see it, because it's an industry thing. Let's see where he is.
Hello, Alex. Welcome to
What
the
about
stream.
Argo?
Hello, Austin. Hello, Darren. Argo blockchain is also, when I said that Greenidge is either my lowest conviction or tied for my lowest conviction, Argo blockchain would be another one that's at the bottom. And I feel like they announced, let me see if this is it. Yeah, so this was today. Argo blockchain announced their 2022 full year results. Now, to be fair, yes, they lost a couple of $100 million, but who didn't in the Bitcoin mining industry? So I'm not really necessarily judging them on... Profitability was not what 2022 was about. But to me, cash flow, balance sheet management... unfortunately, Argo had to change their entire business model in 2022. They had to sell the bulk of their assets and change the way they do business. And, so they are now, so they say, they increased their hash rate capacity by 55% from 1.6 exahash at the end of 2021 to 2.5 at the end of 2022. They're still now at 2.5. So they've been at 2.5 for like a year. They're not going anywhere, it would seem. You can see energize the Helios facility. Well, that's great, but then they had to sell the whole thing. So now they own their machines, but they don't own the facility anymore. So, they got to pay for hosting and that kind of stuff. So this is a company that's gone through a lot of hard times. Let's just say that. And I don't see them. They did not make a lot of steps forward. They may have saved themselves from going out of business, and for some of the companies, maybe that's just the best they could do in 2022. It was that kind of brutal year, but this is very near the bottom of my personal list. So again, that's just my list, my personal opinion. But if you want to see, they did put out their financials today. I think they lost in U.S. dollars over $200 million. But again, that's not really what I'm judging them for. Most of the Bitcoin mining companies lost, anywhere from $100 million to $500 or $600 million last year. Most of that was non-cash items for a lot of these companies. So, write-offs, write-downs, that kind of stuff. But I just don't feel like they progressed with their operations in a way that inspires me. Let's just say that.
Well, what's interesting now is I pulled that up, his information, and for the smaller miners, like if you have like less than 100 to less than 1,000 mine, the average rate for kilowatt is between 7.5 to 9.5 cents. That's crazy.
That's brutal.
It's brutal, isn't it?
Yeah, you're losing money.
And then there's some Missouri has the cheapest and it's 3.5, but that's a lease. It has 100 megawatts available, and it's a 3-year lease, and they want 1.5 million a year.
It's big bucks.
So yeah, it's big. It's big dollars. And then here's another one in West Coast for 3.5 to 4 cents, 120 to 200 megawatts, and that's they want a price of $35K per megawatt. So wow. But it's interesting to see there is stuff around. I think they just get, everybody remembers 2.5 cents for electric, and that's not, I don't even see, the lowest I see is at 3.5 cents.
3.5 is very, very, very competitive, but 7 or 8 or 9 is a disaster.
Right. Yeah. How can you really make any money?
Right. Maybe later at Bitcoin different numbers than this. Austin is saying, I'm so curious about what Argo is even going to do at this point. So I feel the same way. Darren said WULF is a all capitals big dog that just runs. So Raven says this channel is shadow banned.
I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? They banned my shadow?
They shadow banned us. They're not putting us out to the world.
No, we were, and it's so funny. Once he said that, we went up to 100. I thought that was funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Am I behind in the?
Yeah, it's whatever.
I feel like
so
I'm
Missouri 3.5. But yeah, there's a ton of different stuff. It's just nobody wants to pay these rates. Like here's a South Carolina for 6. They only have 8 megawatts, and those are in containers. Then Iceland, it's crazy. They have hydro and geothermal power.
How much?
They're 7.8 cents.
See, that doesn't work.
No, if they got 5 megawatts, and I don't know if these people, Texas, this is with
and you're talking 5 megawatts. I mean, if a person who's doing this as a hobby wants to do that, but that's not a viable alternative. No. So right to that point, let me go to a press release from Bit Digital this week. Bit Digital announces expansion of mining capacity. This is what frustrates me about Bit Digital. And understand they've had about 20 or 30,000 machines that they have not plugged in since they unplugged them from China, quote unquote, and brought them to the U.S. So they never. So I assume at this point that ship has sailed. Most of those machines are never getting plugged in. But so they're announcing. So Bit Digital's been very, very flat. They do mine over 100 Bitcoin a month. They have a very strong balance sheet. So this is why I'm perplexed, and this is why I think it's unbelievably difficult to find a reliable source of power and hosting, because these guys have enough money to go do their thing, and they just can't do it. So let's see. BitDigital, a digital asset mining company headquartered in New York, is pleased to announce that it has finalized an agreement for 10 megawatts of incremental hosting capacity. 10 megawatts. Like, you've got Riot and CleanSpark and Marathon and some other companies, you know, building 500 megawatt places or a gigawatt places. You know, people buy 100 or 300 or these guys have money sitting in the bank. They have a stack of cryptocurrency. They're sitting on money. They can't figure out. They can't find a place to get machines and get them plugged in. So all of this all put together, their big press release is that BitDigital intends to deliver approximately 3,100 miners to the facility, which contemplates the purchase of 2,000 new generation miners to fill the capacity. And they haven't announced any addition in a year. So this is their big announcement after a year. So, you know, when you look at, if you guys remember, as I'm sure you guys all do, you know, there used to be announcements. Oh, we bought 25,000 machines. We bought 40,000 machines. We bought 70,000 machines. We bought, so, you know, 5,000 would be considered a very, very small announcement. This is a company that's sitting on money. They're a very, very healthy company financially. Let's see. They don't put their financials in this press release, but if you were to look at their financials, which I think I do have this up. So if you look at their balance sheet, I mean, they got $64 million in current assets. They have $7 million in current liabilities. This is an extremely liquid company. They have over $32 million in cash, and they can't find a way to add exahash. They've been stuck at 1 exahash for, you know, a year. And now their big announcement is they're going to get up to like 1.2. Anybody?
Sorry. I lost my train of thought. I got deep into this of us losing. I was looking at the taxes, how much we're going to be short this year for taxes for the United States.
Oh.
And it got very interesting real quick.
Alex is asking, have you discussed the proposed 30-cent tax on Bitcoin miners? I have not discussed that, Alex. Thanks for bringing it up. That I am still hopeful that's something that's never going to happen. That would be, it's not impossible. So, you know, when they say they're gonna ban Bitcoin and stuff like that, I dismiss that. I don't think that's possible. But adding a tax to Bitcoin miners, that's possible in the United States. That would be very detrimental. I think it would be a big, big mistake. I know they're talking about it. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but if it does, you know, that's going to put a dent in, you know, for instance, the amount of facilities just in Texas alone, you know, and the tax is going to be on the energy. So the energy companies, it's going to be incumbent on them to charge, I think, 30% tax on the energy that they sell to Bitcoin miners. Now, so if there's a building next door doing something different, they don't get charged that. So, you know, in general, that seems not fair, but who said anything's fair? But I'm waiting. I don't think that's going to happen, but it is out there. I mean, you can't say it's impossible. What do you guys think? Is that a poll? Do we think that's going to happen?
It's a poll. Let's pull it. That's interesting. A progressive's case for Bitcoin. Bitcoin about the.
So we'll make this easy. Yes, no, or not sure. So if you don't know anything about it and you're not sure, that's okay. Is the U.S. going to tax energy on the Bitcoin mining companies? So energy sold to the Bitcoin mining companies, that's what's That's what's on the table. That's what's being talked about. Gary is saying most inefficient will never get turned on. That's, I think he's probably referring back to our conversation on Bit Digital. Most of their machines are just, they're, I guess, obsolete, you would say, at this point, at you know, the current network difficulty level and price of Bitcoin, also just versus the latest and greatest machines. So yeah,
I think you could change the word Bitcoins to, what is it? Tokens or credits? What was that in that movie that was futuristic? Do you have enough credits?
which movie?
I don't remember. There were so many of them.
I know,
You know,
that's a common theme in sci-fi future movies. What's your credits?
No one said, "Do you have enough? Do you have enough Bitcoin?"
Well, that could be. Let's see if that starts showing up in sci-fi. Are we paying in cryptocurrency for that?
Yeah, that is funny.
JD
Tom, do
saying,
you own gold miners? Stack gold.
do I own gold miners? Wesley, no, but I have taken a recent interest in mining, real-world mining companies. So I don't own any yet, but I am interested. I think there's opportunities in a bunch of, you know, gold, silver, a bunch of the rare earth materials, uranium. I'm very interested in, not on a personal level, from an investment standpoint. So I think there's some opportunities there. I think that's going to be, you know, we got to find our opportunities for things that are going to grow, and I think some of those have some really nice growth potential. We just got to find the right ones. So I'm hoping in the Discord I can get more recommendations on miners, and I know some of you guys have already given some good recommendations, so much appreciated. Darren S. is saying, a year from now, the discussion will be who's going to mine the most this month, Riot, CleanSpark, or Core Scientific. And Cores will probably be third place. So Darren is excluding Marathon from the conversation altogether. So this is what I'm saying. Some people, you know, Marathon's a hot button issue. It's a love 'em or hate 'em for a lot of people. CleanSpark is a love 'em or hate 'em for a lot of people, mostly because of officer compensation and perceived massive stock dilution. Yes, they are diluting stock, but, you know, I feel like they've been doing a good job at that. Andy is saying, I don't see the federal government getting involved. Lant is saying, buy call options on gold miners.
We just need an ETF in Bitcoin and we're all set.
Ravens asking,
how long has that lawsuit been going on, Tom?
Well, if you go all the way back, I mean, the lawsuit started in 2022, but they've been rejecting that application for an ETF for, you know, at least a year longer than that. So it's been a couple of years.
Wow.
They have rejected all applications for a Bitcoin ETF. So it's not just Grayscale, but Grayscale is the furthest along in suing them, and I do think they will win that lawsuit. The question is, like with XRP, I never would have dreamed this would still be, win or lose. I never would have dreamed in late April of 2023 we'd still be talking about the XRP lawsuit. But so they can, you know, they can drag these things out for longer than we think.
Cinco de Mayo, that could be a big day. The 5th or the 6th of May could be a really big day for a lot of things.
Raven is asking, why would this be detrimental for the miners and not beneficial? So please elaborate on what you're asking that about, and I'll try to answer that if I can. Gary is saying they get to a year from now, Marathon will likely still be projecting 23 exahash. So I understand Gary's point. They're what they have projected versus what they have done in the past have not been the same thing. And a company should in part be judged. I absolutely take that as a factor, particularly the Bitcoin mining industry. The top 6 or 8 Bitcoin miners for the last few years have been putting out very detailed monthly operational reports. Now there's maybe almost as many as 15 companies that do that. So, there are some companies that have been spot on. There are some companies that, okay, they're close and missed, but they've explained why. And there are some companies that just have been not even in the neighborhood. So, at one point they were wrong by 95% versus their estimates. So, and there were reasons. It wasn't because they were just, watching movies. There were reasons, but nevertheless, they were that far off. They're starting to catch up. I'm starting to get some confidence in them this year, but yeah, I want to see more. Wesley said, I started dollar cost averaging into HYMC since last month, gold mining company in Nevada. So let's do a quick shout out to HYMC. So small, very small market cap. So, that's a high risk reward. We're used to that. Some of our Bitcoin miners on the list are in this neighborhood of market cap. Operates as a gold and silver development company in the United States. The company holds interest in the Highcroft mine that consists of 30 private parcels with patented claims comprising approximately 1,787 acres and 3,247 unpatented mining claims that encompass approximately 62,000 acres, et cetera, in Nevada. So this is a small cap play on a gold mining company. This could make the list for members only deep dive. HYMC. All right, so yeah. GBTC to be settled in August or September. That is from MinerDoc.
I hope so. That'd be interesting.
I'd be thrilled with that. If somebody said...
What happens when that settles, Tom, you think? Not financial advice, of course, but...
I think that they are going to win that lawsuit, and they will be converted to an ETF, and...
Does Bitcoin go up any then?
I think that is a massive, massive catalyst. When that happens, if and when, whether it's Grayscale or somebody else, if there's a straight Bitcoin ETF, I can't think of a bigger catalyst for a jump in the price of Bitcoin than that. That gives all the people right now, all the institutions, all the other entities that are not gonna go buy cryptocurrency, but they will buy an ETF that holds cryptocurrency because that is a regular investment. They're familiar with buying and selling ETFs. That's probably the biggest piece of adoption coming, in my opinion. So we'll see. You never know in the day or the week that it happens. You could always have some kind of reverse effect in the very short term. But to me, from an adoption standpoint, that's going to cause more adoption for Bitcoin than any other event that I can think of. Let me know in the chat if you can think of something that you think is an even bigger event than that. This too shall pass is laughing either at me or with me. I'm not sure.
Here, Larry. I don't know what that's about.
Darren said, with this dip, Cleanspark is a mega buy again.
Mega.
This too shall pass. It's okay. You can let me know if you're laughing at me. That's okay. You wouldn't be the first person.
Or the last.
Or the last. That's right. Colton said, I can't watch because I'm at work at the casino. but we'll watch the replay. Well, have fun at the casino, Colton. Are you a card
He's probably
dealer
not watching.
at the table?
I think he is a dealer.
So you can answer that later when you watch. Hope you have a good day at work. Stephen Andrews is asking, poll CleanSpark $10 by the end of the year. Shall we do? Let's see. We're in the middle of a poll, and how's it going? Is the U.S. going to tax energy on the Bitcoin mining companies? So we have 38%. That is in first place that think, yes, that a tax is coming. And I didn't put a 30% tax on purpose because, you know, who knows what exactly how this gets negotiated out over time if it ever does happen. But 38% think a tax is coming to Bitcoin miners. 28% think no. And then 34% are not sure. So pretty evenly dispersed amongst the three options. But yes, oh, and now it's a tie. Yes is at 35% and not sure. Oh, and now not sure is in the lead. We only have 35 votes. So that just had a swing while we were watching in real time. So I'm going to end it while not sure is winning. Not sure, we don't know because that
it sounds like a horse race. And not sure it's coming around the corner.
Not sure by a nose. 37% think not sure. 34 yes. 28 no. Okay, next poll. Well, let's do that poll. So CleanSpark to $10 by December 31st, 2023. So to be clear, it does not have to close at $10 on December 31st, 2023. Is it going to get there at any point from now until the end of the year? That's the yes. So this one's a yes or no. Let's see what people think. That would be, you know, a significant move up from here. That would be a, you know, 2.5x from where it is right now. It was, you know, it hit $4.
You know why it's so hard to answer that?
Why
There's
is
one reason why it's so hard. What do you think, how long is it going to take them to do their at-the-market fill?
I think that they'll be selling stock for the rest of the entire year of 2023 in increments. Hopefully, wisely.
So in November and December of this year, you think they'll still be selling stock?
I do think that because I do think that they're going to announce plans to go beyond 16 exahash before the December 31st, 2023. They will have announced what their next plans are. But for the time being, they've got a lot of things to do to get to the 16 exahash. So I think they're going to stay fixated on that. But sometime before the end of the year, I expect they will continue their growth pattern. So I think they will continue to sell stock to do so.
So that's why my answer is a no, by the way.
Keith is saying CleanSpark at $10, just a matter of time, and it will go way beyond.
Which, and just so you guys all know, I totally agree with that. Totally agree.
Gary is saying have to pay off before they get miners, so end of September if deliveries are on time. Right, if everything works exactly to plan, they will have received all the machines by the end of September. So, you know, I gave them the wiggle room to, you know, even if they do a great job, I'll still be impressed if they're at 16 exahash installed and operating at December 31st, 2023. To me, that's going to be a win. I know they said they're going to be there a little sooner than that, but that is an extremely aggressive schedule that they're on. So, you know, that's the kind of the wiggle room I would give them to the end of the year.
Tom, how many other companies will be at that size at the end of this year? Who's supposed to be there?
The only other company that is supposed to be at that size is right now, currently Core Scientific is that size. They may continue to reduce. I don't know. You know, each month they go down a little bit in exahash. That might be over, and they might start growing again. We did just see them do a lot of hosting agreements. So
yeah, I wouldn't think that they would be either around at the, at their current size, or even open if somebody doesn't buy them or do something, because they're going to have made some type of restructure plan.
I think they'll be restructured, who knows when. But for the sake of argument, let's say that certainly Core Scientific stands a chance of being at that size. Marathon is representing that they will be at 23 exahash at the end of the year. So, if they do what they said they're going to do, then they'll be at that size. And then CleanSpark. Riot's still talking about 12.5 exahash. Now, having said that, Riot has already secured the machines to get to 12.5 exahash. They do have a 1 gigawatt factory in Texas that they purchased the land for. They have plans to do. That's twice the size of their other facility. So, they have the potential to be at 30 exahash, at some point down the road, but I don't think they're going to get there by December 31st, 2023, certainly. But they would be the next closest in line, I guess, after that, unless somebody else comes out and makes a big announcement. We'll see. I mean, maybe we're getting back into a bull cycle and we're going to start to see bigger announcements. We went a full year really with other than CleanSpark. We didn't really see anybody buy anything for a full year. New purchase orders. Miner Doc is saying 20 to 30 million dilution max by September for CleanSpark.
This is the only reason why I'm scared of CleanSpark. Not that I don't agree that the money's going towards them and it makes them a stronger company, blah, 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 blah. It's just, we have any type of pullback on Bitcoin that could be really bad because they got to raise the money.
They need the money.
Right.
That's right. Or they need to change their plans, and they have not done that, and they seem pretty committed to getting where they're going. Some people think there's nefarious reasons for that, i.e. their compensation. So that's another conversation. I don't think that, but that is definitely,
Tom, three more likes. That's all you need, Tom.
Oh, yes. Please smash the like button if you would. We can get our 100 likes.
Woohoo. We do it every week, Tom.
Darren is saying the dilution discussion should be, when does Marathon issue shares again? Yeah, I mean, CleanSpark is a little bit more open about their at-the-market offering and their dilution, but a lot of these companies are continuously selling shares. Almost every single of the large Bitcoin miners has a shelf offering at the market, so, they're not the only ones. But they are growing by far faster than all the other Bitcoin miners. Now, there are two other Bitcoin miners that had some major leaps in growth. Cipher went from really not mining at all to ramping up. Terawulf went from kind of not mining at all to really ramping up. So those two also have had big increases. They're not anywhere near the size of CleanSpark yet from a operations standpoint, and nor do they have plans to be in the next 12 months, but they'll be big players, right? I think people, particularly Cipher, people seem to be banking on. If we look at Cipher, they're at $573 million market cap. That's the third biggest Bitcoin miner by market cap, and it's not even close. I believe Hut is in fourth, so how far behind is Hut?
So
397 million.
When companies are in bankruptcy, don't they have to issue a plan to get out, for refinance their debt, have to work with all their creditors, right?
That's right.
So they might have to sell some machines, or they might not be able to rework any of those, programs back with the people, the debt with those people. So they might have to give those machines back, correct? Somebody's not going to work with them. And
the
then
fact is
need
they went from
actual
17
cash.
exahash down to 16.1 exahash. So something's already happened.
Right.
How
So,
much more is going to happen? I do not know.
and then they have they're going to need serious cash, and I notice he's not going to be there, by the way,
Who?
at the conference. The CEO, I can't remember his name. From what are their names? You know, the company in Core Scientific.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, I did not see their name on the list. You are correct.
Well, and I wouldn't think that they would approve that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it probably makes sense for them to keep a low profile. They're kind of in the middle of an important transitional period in their company. And listen, they could come out of the other side of that. The question is not, is Core Scientific going to be successful in the future? Are the current shareholders going to be able to participate in it? Those are two different questions. I think Core Scientific's a monster. So something's going to emerge from Chapter 11 that may be quite successful.
Right.
We just don't know. Gary said Marathon borrowed $700 million in 2021 to get to 23.3 exahash and failed. They are selling shares to still make that happen. Lost $687 million in 2022. So they were the winners, or losers, if you will. They did lose the most money out of all the Bitcoin mining companies in 2022, compared to CleanSpark losing $100 million. And a lot of both of those numbers are non-cash type stuff, but, you know, $687 million loss is $687 million loss. And yes, they expected to be at 23.3 exahash, about a year ago initially. So it's now, coming up on a year later. They're still nowhere near that, but I do think they will get there. But I understand they've lost an awful lot of time, and they could have mined a lot more Bitcoin in the middle had they gotten there. And, the 11,000 they have on their balance sheet, maybe could have been 20,000.
Do you know if Core owned any miners outright?
Versus that are not encumbered by their debt?
Yeah, maybe a UCC filing, but
I don't,
not a,
I don't know the answer
straight.
to that, but I know they had, in the neighborhood of $1 billion of debt at one point. So I would doubt that, they certainly owned a fleet of machines, like 150,000 machines, but I can only speculate that the vast majority of those are directly encumbered by the several. I think they had 6 or 7 or 8 different lenders.
Do you know where they filed bankruptcy?
I don't. David Wilson, welcome. David said, just joined. Do you have any idea of Cipher's next phase of expansion? They are very quiet. So I agree. I don't see anything specific. We know they're we just looked at their stock. They're at $573 million. They're the third largest by market cap, much, much smaller than Riot and Marathon, but still the third largest by market cap. Their current plans are at 6 exahash. I haven't really seen anything definitive past that. They definitely plan on growing past that. Also, they definitely are representing that they have a very low cost per coin. So they're expecting, I expect a lot of news from them this year, but I don't really have much right now on what's next. But I think 6.0 is where they're headed for right now. So here, they're already at 5.7 as of their March operational update. So they're almost at that 6. And let me know. Well, here, we can just look at this for the moment. I don't want to sit here and oh, yeah, this is nothing anyway. That's an announcement that they're going to announce. Sour Melon Gaming, doesn't Marathon have a ridiculous amount of machines in storage? They're just needing the infrastructure. So, yes, that is Marathon's problem. They currently have and have had a massive amount of machines that they purchased, owned, and that, they just weren't up operational and hashing. So, you know, they weren't mining Bitcoin, and they're still in that situation. But they're much further along. They've installed, the last 6 months are a very big difference from the 6 months before that. Let's just put it this way. I'm starting to see progress there. I think everybody's starting to see progress where at one point there was 8 or 10 or 12 months where it just felt like, you know, they were getting smaller. They were becoming a smaller and smaller and smaller company while they kept talking about being a bigger and bigger company. So I feel like they've turned the corner on that part of their history. But David Wilson said, thank you, you're welcome. But they're still not where they said they would be a year ago. So until they get there, I think it's fair that a lot of people are going to remain skeptical. Right? I mean, this is where they said they were going, and they're not there. And they're not close. They missed it by a mile. Let's get back to the Bitcoin chart and see what's going on. We're at 29,409. So we did do a poll earlier. We have a bullish crowd overall. Not by a lot, but we did. That poll did end up being 31,000, we were saying, by Monday morning. So
is that what everybody said, 31?
Yeah, and the choices were, you know, is it going to stay the same over the weekend and go sideways? Is it going to go up to 31 or down to 27? So up to 31 came in first place. I think stay the same came in second place. So, you know, overall, still very bullish group. I feel good about it. I think it's probably going to do more sideways movement over the weekend, but I still think, you know, the next move is up. We're in a bull market, in my opinion. Bitcoin is in a bull market. I should be specific. I won't even say the entire cryptocurrency universe, and I certainly wouldn't say the stock market. But I think Bitcoin is, I mean, Bitcoin's pulled a double. So, you know, anytime you're up 100%, I just don't know how you argue that that's not a bull run. Just trying to scroll down here. Gary's saying Marathon is quiet. They are down from 26 coins a day in March to 23 in April, yet they have projected 23 exahash by the end of June. Why dropping if they should be doubling this quarter? So this is everybody's problem. So to Gary's point, that he's pointing it out right there. They continue. My biggest frustration with them is not that it has taken a lot longer for them to get where they're going, because stuff happens. But I just don't, have they been, they're so wrong in their monthly updates as far as their projections go. So is it that they're, you know, just pie in the sky optimistic, which is worrisome as a potential shareholder? Or have they just had a string of why are they not you know, it's the oldest rule in the book. You under promise and overperform. They have done the polar opposite of that for more than a year. So, you know, what Gary is saying is what a lot of people look at every single time they put a monthly operational update out. Like, what is going on, and why do you keep promising this? I've given them more of the benefit of the doubt than I think most. You know, some people have gotten mad at me for the benefit of the doubt I've given them. I think they're going to get to 23 exahash. Now, did they miss a lot of opportunity? I suppose absolutely. They have missed massive opportunity versus being there a year ago, but I don't think that plan was ever based in reality. They fell so far short of that I can't imagine there was really, you know, did they have a schedule, a Gantt chart, a critical path where they actually literally saw if, you know, A through Z happens, we'll be at 23 exahash in the middle of 2022? Maybe they did, and they're just that far off. I don't know. That's hard to imagine. So David Wilson saying, I think Marathon will do 1,000 coins for April, looking at the installed rate of machines and last month's daily rate of production. So I will say, David, and I don't know, I take this with a grain of sand, but there's a couple of people that are members that are, I think, trying to track wallets and that kind of stuff, and they're projecting lower numbers than that by far for April. So I guess we'll see what happens. I just wait until the report comes out. These guys have been getting the reports out. You know, we're 3 days away from the, no, we're 2 days away from the end of the month. So, you know, next week, a lot of these guys are going to tell us what they did. And we could very well get a monthly operational update next week from Marathon. If we don't, it'll be the week after, but it's probably going to be next week. So I'll just wait for it. And then I obviously, for Marathon and, you know, all the big ones, I will do a video for each operational report that comes out next week. So over the next couple of weeks, you can expect all of those monthly operational updates. I'll do a deep dive and see what's what and try and make sense out of them the best I can. And we will see. Yeah, I mean, Marathon did 825 Bitcoin in March, I believe. So, you know, anything less than that, in my mind, would be a big disappointment. But it does, I've seen some people indicate that they think it's going to be less than that. CleanSpark to $10. Do we want to call this poll? We got 43 votes in. We are at 63% of people think that CleanSpark is going to hit $10 sometime between now and the end of this year. 63 yes, 37% no. So that's a pretty strong showing for CleanSpark. We got a lot of people with some confidence in CleanSpark. I would vote yes to that, just so that you know. And I'm not saying that's guaranteed. Obviously, that's my best guess. I think they will touch $10 at some point this year. That's my opinion. George?
I think there'll be about $7.50 to $8.
Max? That'll be their max for the year?
Yeah. No. Maybe not their max.
That's what we're looking. What's the highest point they're going to touch this year?
They might touch $10, but then they're going to sell off.
Yeah, see, so I don't, yeah, it's, who knows, on December 31st, who knows what they're going to be. So Gary is updating us saying, I have Marathon at 634, Riot at 594, and CleanSpark at 489 through 28 days. So if those hold,
that's impressive.
All three of those would be very disappointing results. So
really?
Yes, that would be...
Is the difficult rate up or something?
The difficulty level is up, but even if you account for that, this would be less than they should be mining in the month of April. So those would be, if those project out through the end of the month, those would all be disappointing results. So we'll see what happens.
I'm just glad to see them so close. CleanSpark so close to Marathon.
Well, yeah, and I'm telling you, last month Marathon beat CleanSpark. I think 2 months in a row Marathon has beat CleanSpark. Other than that, I think you can go month after month after month. For the most part, CleanSpark has mined more than Marathon. Sometimes it's considerably more than Marathon. So, a lot of people think that Marathon continues to report that they're going to grow and grow and grow, so they think they're going to run away from the field. But if Gary is right, and they're only going to mine under 700 Bitcoin this month, then that's going to be, plus or minus 700 would be, in my opinion, a pretty big disappointment for the month of April for Marathon. But
I wasn't talking, is it good for CleanSpark?
So CleanSpark's at 489. I think they did 598. I'm going to look because I'm just pulling these numbers out, but I'm pretty sure they did 598 in March. So CleanSpark did 598 in March. So it looks like they're not going to get to that in April at the pace that they're at right now. So that would be, to me, that would be disappointing. Now, it doesn't look like they're going to miss by a mile, but you know, you want to see them trending in an upward direction. And I'll tell you, more important is going to be May and June, because they should be, by the end of June, they should be at 9 exahash. So if they're not beating this by a lot at that point, that would be very disappointing. So we're going to have to wait and see. I'll do, you know, for most Marathon, Riot, Cleanspark, Bitfarms, Cipher, I'll definitely do a video for all of those. People seem to be a lot less interested in the bottom half of this list. However, with the exception of, there's a lot of interest in Terawulf right now. Not too much interest in Hive, but I'm interested in them. Iris Energy, actually, I think has a lot of potential. Argo Blockchain, I've talked about, you know, how I feel about them. And HUT right now is in a bit of a holding pattern. You can see they're mining. They went from tied for 8th place in February to 10th place, and they used to be, you know, 6th place. So they're trending in the wrong direction for now, but I think they're focused on, you know, seeing if they can get this merger done or not. And until they do, you know, I'm not sure how much their operational reports matter, unless they have a surprise. Bernoulli is saying only 700, LOL. Yeah, I mean, 700 is a nice, that's a lot, but it is definitely less than expected for Marathon. So we'll have to see. I'll tell you who I want to see. I'm just as interested in Bitfarms and Cipher. They should have, you know, they should have competitive months. Let's see where those two go. Because you can see there's a pretty big gap then from there. But in 7th and 8th place, Terawulf and Iris Energy, these two expect to be competing, you know, by June, let's say. These should be much, much closer to these guys. So this chart's going to change. We're going to see. I don't know that anybody's new is going to come onto the list, but there will be changes. People are going to be vying for a position all year. The one thing that can happen, that did happen last year, is, you know, if one of these guys don't make it, or if there's some consolidation in the space, then, you know, somebody might get knocked off the list. And we'll see. There are other companies out there. But for now, these 10 seem to be locked in as the top 10. Defund the short said a double from here would be great for Cleanspark. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not gonna be set. You know what? If they double, that's great. That's a big move to the upside. You know, it's important to bear that in mind, where, you know, we want 5Xs and 10Xs, and I think those are going to come over time. But in the, you know, short to midterm, if we're pulling doubles on some of these, that's good stuff. Defund the short said, I am super bullish on Bitfarms. So I'm very bullish on Bitfarms also. That's one of my high conviction stocks. I agree with that.
I'm going to run, guys.
All right, George. Well, it's 6:30. I think we should wrap it up.
Super bullish, but the only problem is, you know, they got to raise money, and I'm worried about that reverse split. When they do that, that always causes havoc.
Well, it's still an if for now.
It's an if until it's a when.
Well, that could be. So Bitfarms may potentially do a reverse split. I hope they don't, but that remains to be seen. Either way, I'm bullish long term on them. I don't, you know, stocks tend to react poorly in the very short term to reverse stock splits if that ends up happening.
Well, have a great weekend, everybody.
All right, George, and enjoy. I'm going to wrap it up as well.
Monday.
We'll say goodnight to George.
See you guys.
All right, so I'm also going. I'll end the poll here. So Cleanspark to $10 at some point this year. It looks like we think that's going to happen. So I hope so. That would be a nice move to the upside. Obviously, we got to see what Bitcoin does. That's driving the picture. We got to see how Cleanspark continues to operate. If Cleanspark does what they say they're going to do, you know, if they're at 16 exahash in, let's say, October or November, it is just hard for me to believe they're not going to be trading at $10. But, you know, if Bitcoin's at $22,000 at that point, you know, it may be a totally different story than versus, you know, if it's at 30,000 or 40,000 or 45,000. I don't know. A lot of variables. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, to sum up, we were bullish over the weekend. We were hoping Bitcoin 31,000 by Monday morning. My most important thing this weekend, my parting thought will be, I would like to hold this line of support at 28,800. I think that is an important line of support. So if we can stay above that all weekend long, I will feel good about it. If we get to 31,000, even better. So more importantly, I hope everybody made some money and had a good week. And please enjoy your weekend. And I will be doing some videos over the weekend. So thanks so much to all the members for your support. And thanks to everybody for watching and subscribers, etc. So have a great weekend, everybody. And we will see you on Monday.